Hi guys, it's Dakota. Here I am today in the witch cottage, and it is dreadful out there. It is pouring down rain, and it is cold. And I am doing my series on Chakra Magick, and this is part two, or number two. And so it's a 7-part series. If you didn't watch the first one, you might want to go back to last week's video, catch up. But I don't like getting wet. I don't like the cold, as you know. And however, I needed to do a little bit of work for today's activity that I'm going to show you at the end of the video. And so, yeah, so here I am out in the cottage. I weathered the storm to come out here. It is just dreadful out there. It is very cold and it is just pouring down rain. It has been raining all day. I waited until this afternoon, hoping that it would dry up a little bit, at least for me to run out here, but no, it did not. So I'm out here, and anyway, so yes, so one of the reasons I'm doing my video today on Sunday instead of Monday or Tuesday, which is when I normally do my videos, is because tomorrow, Monday, the 21st, is actually the winter solstice or Yule here in the Northern Hemisphere, and I'm going to be working. The shop is open, and so this coming week, typically we are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, but families coming in and people wanting to come and get their last minutes, and so the store is going to be open. So I wouldn't be able to do the video, and I really wanted to continue on with this series. So one of the questions that I had from last week that somebody had asked me, if you saw the video, or if you didn't, check it out so that you'll know what I'm talking about. At the end for the activity, I didn't dress per se my candle with herbs. So what I did was I had carved into the candle, I inscribed the candle with some words regarding the root chakra, which is our number 1 chakra. That's where we start, at the root. And so I had written words that were about releasing the energies that aren't serving the highest good for that chakra, and then bringing in energies that would help heal that chakra. And I did use candle. So I wrote the appropriate words that I wanted, the manifesting intentional words that I wanted to write on the candle. I did that. And then you saw me using a tobacco water, or it's tobacco cologne, but I call all of those, like Florida water, it's actually a cologne, and I call it water. So all of the colognes I call waters. So I actually used what you saw was me using tobacco water, and I rubbed it all over the candle. And what I was doing was, not only was I cleansing the candle from energies that maybe somebody else had touched and put into the candle, even if they didn't do it purposely. Maybe somebody pulled out a candle and was just having a bad day and they put the candle back. But I do that. That's what I do. I usually will wash my candles with the waters first. It could be Florida water, or tobacco water, rose water, orange water, whatever I decide to use for that particular intention that I'm doing. And then I did anoint it with oil, and I believe the oil I used was patchouli, because patchouli is very earthy, and root being an earthy chakra. That was the oil I used. So I did dress it with the oil. Now, typically, and I say typically, yeah, typically I also dress with herbs. Now, what you saw me doing was rubbing herbs all over the candle, rolling the candle in the herbs. I had mixed some herbs together that had to do with root chakra and healing and opening of the root chakra. But my intention was not to adhere the roots, to adhere the herbs to the candle. So I wasn't dressing per se the candle with the herbs. That was an additional it was a dressing, but it was a dressing and a washing as well with the herbs onto the candle to just sort of infuse it with the herbs. Not necessarily, I did not, for this particular thing, I did not want to put the wax or whatever else, however else I do my dressing of the herbs to get, or candles to get the herbs to stick. I really didn't want to do that this time, but I did want to use herbs. And so I just was rolling the candle in the herbs, and I was just rubbing the candle with the herbs, but a couple of them stuck, but that was not my intention. Once I got my candle to stick in the little dish, I took the herbs that I had infused the candle with and placed that at the base of my candle. So one of the questions was, if you're not using the herbs on the candle, why are you putting them at the base of the candle? And which was a really good question. And the reason is because I'm using those herbs to continue to feed the candle, or the intention of the candle. I lay them at the base of the candle to continue. I used it on the candle, and then I put them I just lay them at the base of the candle to continue the energy, that healing energy, the positive energy, the opening of the chakra energy at the base of the candle, so that as the candle burns, those herbs continue to do their work. And as the candle gets lower, now I didn't show you the whole burn time, but this is something to take into consideration if you ever try that. As the candle begins to get lower, and you saw that I had it in like a little half bowl, because, and I should have mentioned this, because as the candle starts to burn lower, the flame, it was a good layer of herbs. The flame starts to actually burn the herbs. So part of the burning of the candle, even though the herbs weren't actually on the candle, they were around the base feeding the candle, feeding the energy. And as the candle started to burn down, the flame will start to burn your herbs, and which it did. So it burned pretty much all of the herbs, except on the very edges. Some of those didn't get burned all the way. But yeah, it burned all of the herbs as at the end of the burn time. So, and then when I'm done with that, like I told you, I would have normally have taken the candle wax, since that was, I'm pretty sure that's a paraffin wax. I normally would either go ahead and throw that wax in the trash and, hope that it gets disposed of safely, but a lot of times I will just put it in the big bonfire in the back and just let it burn completely out and away. It just, the oils, the candle eventually, the wax just eventually just evaporates. But there was no wax. The herbs, it burned all the way down, all the way down. There wasn't 1 ounce, not one little drop of wax left. So as it burned, the wax, I guess the herbs absorbed the wax. And then as the herbs started to burn, they burned the remainder of the wax. So all I had was some leftover burned herbs, and I just put them out in the garden, in the flower bed out front, which is typically what I like to do with my herbs, because that is where I get a lot of my herbs. Not a lot of my herbs, but some of my herbs from the garden. Of course, most of them are all gone now. The only herbs left is rosemary, lavender, and actually the lavender's almost done, and I still have some sage left. So, but I just give it back. The ash is really good for the land, so that's what I do. Okay, so there. I hope that answered your question as to why I put the herbs at the base of the candle, and why I didn't, necessarily dress the candle with the herbs or put some extra wax on there, heated wax, so that it would squish in to the candle. That's why. I didn't want that for that particular spell work. Okay. I have my teapot going, and it's about to whistle at any second. So I'm gonna have to pause this in just a second. I have a little camping stove out here, like a one-burner camping stove, just enough so I can use water if I need to heat water for something, or so it's doing my teapot now, and it's about to go. Okay, so all right, so last week, back to Chakra Magick. Okay, so last week, like I said, we talked about the root chakra, which is located at the base of your spine. And we can think of that as, when we talk about root, just think of a tree, the roots of a tree. Connects you with Mother Earth, connects you with Earth, and that helps to ground. So that's how we can remember the root chakra, and remember that that is your first chakra. So when you get ready to start aligning your chakras, balancing your chakras, cleansing your chakras, whatever it is you do, we start with number 1, which is the root. That's where we start with that stability. Okay? All right, so then we're going to move to the second chakra, which is our sacral chakra. Now, the sacral is about 2 inches below the belly button. And again, these don't live on the skin. These are within, okay? These are within our body. And so that is the second chakra, above the root chakra, below the belly button, about 2 inches below the belly button. And it is called, I kill these words, I'm telling you, I cannot pronounce these words to save my life. The second chakra is called the Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana. Pardon me, please correct me if somebody knows how to pronounce it correctly. I even have it, broken down, but I'm really terrible at pronouncing words. But what it means is, it means self. And yes, I'm looking at my notes. I got my little notepads here. So it refers to self. And what it does is what we mean by self is its sense of self, our well-being. It is our integrity. It helps to rule our creativity. It helps us gives us the ability to feel passion. And when I talk about passion, I'm not just talking about sexual passion, romantic passion, lustful passion. Passion. We are passionate about things, right? We're passionate about things. Some people are passionate about art. Some people are passionate about gardening. So it's that kind of creativity passion. So it's passion itself. Okay, so now the element of the sacral is water. That is the element. And that deals with emotions. So now you can kind of see how it deals with emotions, how that connects, and water deals with emotions. And so now you can kind of see how the sacral does fall under that passion, creativity, sense of self, self-worth, our integrity, that type of thing, because those are all emotional type things. Now, the color of the second chakra of the sacral is orange. And when that chakra is starting to whistle, I'll be right back. All right. I got my little a little whistling teapot. You can kind of see it steaming there. Pour me a cup of tea, and we're going to talk about tea here in just a minute. All right. Put that over there on that little hot pad. All right. So I'm going to talk about tea in just a minute. I'm going to let that steep for a few. Okay, so the color is orange. Root was red. The sacral is orange. Now, when the sacral chakra is balanced, when it is balanced, that is when you are really feeling energized. You're feeling happy. You're happy with life. You're just sort of, you feel good. You know, you just feel good. You're just happy. Kind of just enjoy things. You know, we just sort of enjoy life and enjoy what we have. And we don't really, you know, it's not like we really second guess that. It just feels good. It just feels good. Life feels good. So the sacral chakra is really important. All of your chakras are very important. Sacral being one of them that is really, really important. Now, when it is unbalanced, when it is not aligned, when it is unbalanced, or when it is not spinning at the right speed that it should be, you tend to become, these are some of the things, you can become a control freak, you can become manipulative, you can be shy, you can be self-conscious, and you always seem to put yourself first before others. And I'm going to say that, you know, narcissism falls under this also. I feel my own personal opinion about it from clients that I've dealt with in the past, and just situations. I just really feel like, well, that whole manipulative thing, you know, that is sort of a narcissistic thing. People always want, you know, they're going to be wrong, and even if they've made an error or a mistake, regardless of how nothing it was really, people are wrong. You know, sometimes people just make a mistake, they make an error, they guessed the wrong thing, whatever, but they will turn that around. I didn't do that, did I? Did you? I think you did that, right? You know, because God forbid that they're wrong. You know, they can't deal with that. They don't ever want to be wrong. They want to make sure that they are in the power position all the time, and that you are that, you know, lowly person that is always wrong. You know, it's always your fault, that sort of thing. And so for me, I do see it with the sacral a lot. And I think narcissism goes a lot with manipulative energies and traits that people have. So you know, and having that really kind of hinders your own having those things like being manipulative or being shy or being self-conscious, to where you do things to make others feel bad, to make yourself feel good. It really is just sort of, you know, it just sort of hinders your own growth. It really does. So it's really, really important to have that sacral chakra aligned as well. Now, fear is a huge block of the sacral. And I'm glad I did find this in one of my chakra books, and I'm glad that I found it, because it is one of the things, even in Reiki, when I'm working with doing Reiki on clients, a lot of their issues, you know, they give a lot of information, and a lot of information is fear-based. They have a lot of fear, and so I was glad to find this little snippet in one of my chakra books about that. And fear is a huge block. It's a huge block. People are afraid of having fun. People are afraid of feeling good. People are afraid of rejection, which, see, that goes along with narcissism, the fear of rejection. If I'm wrong, you know, that's, you might reject, you're rejecting what I thought or what I said or what I did. And so it all just sort of goes in together. So we always want to make sure that that sacral is really important. We want to make sure that that is open and that it is aligned. All right. So like I said in the first video, you'll have to go back. I cannot repeat this in every single video, or we will be here for weeks. I'm not going deep into the chakras. what they are and what all the abilities are and everything. I'm just sort of touching on what I feel are some of the more common things that I happen to deal with in my business. And but there, my chakra book, I have a big fat chakra book like this. It must be at the shop. I thought it was here at the house. I didn't see it. I looked for it because I knew I was going to be doing video today, and I didn't see it. So I'm really not sure where it is. But this came from another chakra book that I had. It was much smaller, and I don't even recognize the author, but I did enjoy that information about fear. I thought that was really good. All right, so some of the oils that you can use for aromatherapy, we did talk about that in the last video. Aromatherapy is a great thing to help you keep those chakras aligned, keep them healthy, keep them balanced. And one of the oils, and it's one of my favorites, is sandalwood. Sandalwood is great for the sacral chakra, as well as sweet orange or even orange blossom. Those are really excellent. Little birdie flew under there. Those are really excellent oils to open up that sacral chakra. Rose, jasmine, clary sage. Now, clary sage is an excellent oil to work with. I have found it very hard to get. I can't even get it for the shop. I don't know where to get it. I've seen a couple of suppliers, but I'm not real familiar with them, so I've not ordered from them before. But clary sage is a really excellent oil for a number of things. And the oils, again, you can put them in diffusers. You can, the little lava stone diffuser necklaces or bracelet where you can put a couple drops on there and just sort of always have that little whiff of the smell when you need it. You can put them in lotions. You can put a couple drop in your lotion, in your bath water. So they're really good if you like to make an Epsom salt, like a salt bath cube or whatever they're called, salt bath ball, whatever. I just make loose salt, Himalayan salt, sometimes Epsom salt, and I'll put dry herbs in there with a couple of drops of essential oil in there. They're great for the bath, and that aroma just comes up from the steam. And while you're in there, you can light all the candles. So if it's orange, I would light orange candles. Maybe play some nice, relaxing music, some nature music. Put on a guided meditation for the sacral chakra. It would be really nice while you're doing your bath. Some of the herbs and flowers. Calendula, which is actually a marigold, and I love it because I like calendula. It is the planet is sun and the element is fire, so that's my favorite. And of course orange, obviously orange. Foods, again, anything that's orange, your orangey foods, pumpkin, oranges, passion fruit, apricots, anything that is an orange, healthy food, right? So those are some good foods, like a quick fix, that you could do. Now, since it is the sacral is an element of water, it's really good to drink tea. So I have made my cup of tea. And yes, I'm using a tea bag because I am making matcha. Matcha? Yeah, matcha. I was going to say, never mind. I'm thinking of coffee. Yeah. Matcha and green tea. That is what I'm making. And matcha is good it helps to soothe the soul, and it helps to increase the healing process. And as a practitioner of witchcraft, if you call yourself a witch, or you're Wiccan, or you're just pagan, or you like witchcraft, or you just like to make tea, maybe you're a healer, light workers, it goes under the whole thing. It helps with your healing powers. So this is a really excellent tea for you to drink before you even, or while you're doing your chakra balancing, maybe when you're doing your bath. Your chakra bath. It's really good. You could use it for any of the chakras. Delicious. It's an antioxidant. It's a little bitter. It's really, I didn't have any honey, so I'm not going to put that in there. I was going to try it with a little creamer, but I didn't have any. So there you go. All right. We're going to move on now. I'm going to move us over to the working table. I want to show you what we're going to do today for the activity, for the magical activity. Okay, be right back. Okay, so what I decided to do was, I have my little fossil bowl here, and what I decided to do was, I know you've all seen the DIY about how to make the candle with an orange. Now, I went ahead and made this while I was at the house because I just have a small little burner here, little camp burner here, and I needed to melt the wax, etc. And plus it was sticky. I didn't want to have to carve it all out while I was making the video. So I'm just going to tell you that the candle is already done. Now, I know in the DIYs that they show you how you can clean out the candle, leave the stem of the orange in there, fill your candle with an oil, like an olive oil, etc., and then you can light the stem of the orange after it dries, and it will burn for a very long time. I did not want to do that. So what I did was I went ahead and cleaned it all out, and I did remove the stem. And by the way, I did not eat the orange. I gave it to the birdies because it is so nasty out there. Today I'm hoping that I put it in a little dry area under a bush, so hopefully they can go out there and eat some yummy orange. So what I did was I went ahead and I already melted the wax, and then I poured the wax into the candle, or I'm sorry, into the orange. And then I put, I don't know how many drops, I just put some drops. This is orange vanilla. Now, orange is for love. Orange helps with love, and orange, again, it's creativity. It helps with bringing love and that type of thing to you. Self-love, self-empowerment, self-worth, that sort of thing. So I used this, it's orange and vanilla, because I wanted it to smell good. And also vanilla is also good for love. Back in the day, that's what they used to use, vanilla as a perfume. And, it was drawing. I also used sandalwood, a couple drops of sandalwood. Sandalwood, of course, is good for purification, and it also, sandalwood also, the planet is Venus, which is love, and moon. So I'm sorry, water. So it is Venus and water, so there again you have the love going on there. All right, then I poured the wax in. Before I put the wick in, I poured the wax. I took a couple of, just a little, I just poured it in, a few drops of each of those into the melted wax. As it started to dry, I had the wick somewhat held in there. And then I took orange peel, which again, orange is for love. I took orange peel, and as it started to dry, I started to drop the orange peel into the candle. So now this is hard candle, has the wick in the orange. And what I'm going to do, this is calendula. So remember I talked about the calendula, which is a marigold. And it is sun and fire, which is my favorite thing. And I'm just going to take a decent pinch, quite a bit, and to put it in my bowl. Isn't it beautiful? Look, I just love the flowers, you know, the whole flowers. Look, isn't it beautiful? And so I'm just making a little bed of calendula, a nice little bed of calendula. And that is going to be the bed that I'm going to place my candle on. Now, if you want, you can put the calendula around it if you want. And you can see that it's kind of, you know, coming up around. But for this particular thing, I wanted it to be a little bed of calendula. All right? Okay, and now I'm going to show you what we're going to do with it. All right, if I can get this pop. Okay, so you can see my little altar here. I have Chakra Goddess. Put that up a little bit so you can see her. And I put my candle right in the middle. I'm going to be doing a grid. So I have my Lemurian quartz here. That is serving as my generator for the whole thing. I've got 4 candles that I'm going to light. And then what I have are 4 carnelians. 4 carnelians. And I'm going to place them. 3 of them have sort of not a point, but they're more pointed on one end than the others. But except for the one, it does not have a real pointy. But I'm going to put those in between the candles. This is one that doesn't have much of a point, but it was all that I had. I'm going to put that there. So the carnelians are in between the candles. And then what I have, and they're pointed in towards the candle because I'm trying to bring that energy in. And then what I have are 8 small, let's see if you can see them, 8 small, they're sort of laser crystal points. I think that's what they call them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those points in also, and I'm going clockwise because that's what I do. I prefer to send this energy doing it clockwise as opposed to just placing them wherever. And I'm just placing the 8, I'm just placing the 8 points, laser points, also towards my candle. And that's all, that is truly all there is to this grid. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this top candle. I'm going to light it. I'm going to light all 4 of these. Come on. And then I'm going to light our orange candle. So there you have it. And so now you can do this, either set it up as an altar and do a meditation while you're doing it, maybe hold some carnelian, maybe at your bath, maybe have this somewhere on a little, maybe your counter while you're taking your bath. And all you're going to do is just simply think about that sacral chakra, which is right, remember it's right below the belly button. Think about it, visualize it, spinning at the right speed. I couldn't tell you what that speed is, I don't know. But spinning at the right speed, becoming aligned, becoming balanced, becoming more open, becoming more creative, more full of self-worth, being filled with integrity, with passion, with good feelings for yourself. and you've already worked with your root chakra. So the root chakra should already be open. Now we're working on the sacral. So this is a 7-day thing that you can do. This series that I'm doing, you can do it in 7 days. Start with the root chakra, move on up as we're going to do. So you could do one each day, or you can wait until the series is over and do it that way if you wanted. That would be a lot of different magical things going on if you chose to do that. But yeah, this is all you would really need to do. And like I said, this is a really great one to do. I do this a lot when I'm doing distant Reiki. There are times that I will make an announcement at my store that I'm doing distant Reiki, and anyone that wants me to put their name at the altar, I will take names, and I write it on a big list, put it on the altar, and I'll do some sort of work like this. Maybe I will have all the chakras represented, and it could just be a very different altar altogether. But here you can see this is what we do. This is for the sacral. It's very easy to do. It's an orange, and if you don't want to do the whole thing with the orange, but that's the thing is now doing it with this orange, I was able to be thinking about what it was that I was doing. As I was carving it out, I was thinking that I'm opening up this orange, therefore I'm opening up my sacral chakra. So it's that sense of energy that you're doing. It's the actual doing that is part of the magic, and that is really what makes it work and what makes things happen. So there you go. This is part 2, sacral, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next week. Take care. Hey, by the way, happy Yule to those that celebrate, winter solstice, Merry Christmas, whatever it is, Happy Hanukkah. I don't care. Anything and everything. If you don't celebrate, have a wonderful week, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.